They said no one stays a full month in that house, but I did. I stayed 31 nights, and every single one, it felt like the house learned a little more about me. Now I can't tell where I end, and it begins. I moved to Wren Street on a Thursday in late October, one of those days when the air smells like old rain and the light never fully commits to being day. The town was small, quieter than I expected. It wasn't dying exactly, just tired, like a person who'd been awake too long. The house itself sat at the far end, past the bakery and the church. A narrow two-story place, white paint peeling like dried skin. Cheap rent, decent space, no questions asked. That last part should have warned me. The landlord met me at dusk. He didn't shake my hand, just handed me the keys and said, "You'll hear the pipes at night." Don't worry, they just groan. Then he looked over his shoulder toward the upstairs window and left. That first night, I unpacked only the basics. Mattress on the floor, lamp, kettle, notebook. The silence hit differently inside. Not peaceful, not even empty. It was listening silence, like when someone's standing just behind you, waiting for you to turn. I told myself it was just city nerves. But around 2 a.m., the pipes started. A slow, rhythmic moan through the walls, almost like breathing. I recorded it on my phone, thinking I'd play it back in the morning and laugh at myself. But when I listened, there was something under the sound, a faint scrape, like someone dragging fingertips along the inside of the pipe, following the rhythm of my own heartbeat. I didn't sleep. The next few days blurred. I worked remotely, spreadsheets, meetings, polite voices through screens. But every evening, the house waited. The creaks lined up with my footsteps. The floor sighed when I sat down. The fridge hummed louder whenever I stopped moving. It sounds crazy when I say it now, but it felt like the house wanted a pattern, like it was trying to sync itself with me. On the fifth night, I started talking to it. Just small things. Good night. Thanks for the quiet. Stop the damn pipes. I don't know why. Maybe it's easier to live with something when you name it, when you make it familiar. That was the first night the pipes didn't make a sound. Instead, I heard footsteps upstairs. I told myself it was the wood contracting, temperature change, whatever. But when I looked up at the ceiling, plaster dust drifted down like ash. Someone had walked directly above me. I grabbed a flashlight and went up. The stairs whined under each step, dust puffing from the carpet like breath. The hallway was empty. The bedroom door, the one I hadn't opened since moving in, was slightly ajar. Hello? Only the sound of the wind pressing against the window. I pushed the door open. Inside was nothing but a narrow bed frame and a single chair facing the corner. On the wall, faint lines, hundreds of them, carved into the paint. Tally marks. Pause. Dozens of groups of 30. Someone had been counting days. I told myself it was old. Maybe the last tenant. Maybe a kid. But when I turned to leave, I saw a fresh line carved just below the others. Still flaking white dust. Someone had made that mark while I was downstairs. I left the door open that night, and in the kitchen, lights on, listening. At 3 a.m., the chair upstairs moved. Just once. A slow scrape of wood against floorboards. That's when I started hearing my name. Not clearly, more like the echo of a voice you half remember. I thought it came from the vents, so I taped them over. The sound moved to the walls, then to the ceiling, always whispering, always on the edge of words I couldn't catch. Until one night I did. It said 31, the same number carved into the wall. I told myself again, sleep deprivation, isolation, imagination. But the next morning, every clock in the house, even the microwave, was set to 3 a.m. The time the voice spoke. That's when I stopped denying it. Something in that house wanted to count with me. I tried to leave on day 20, packed my bag, called a cab. The driver never showed. I waited outside for an hour, too. When I finally called again, the dispatcher said no one had requested a pickup. My phone history showed the call was made, but to my own number. The house wasn't letting me go. I stopped counting days after that. The marks on the bedroom wall grew without me touching them. Every morning there were more. 31, then another row. The air inside the house felt thicker, like humidity you could almost chew. I tried opening the windows. They refused to budge. The hinges whined, the frames swelled, but nothing moved. When I called the landlord, the line clicked once, then silence, like someone breathing close to the receiver. The town outside seemed to shrink. People avoided Wren Street. Even the mail stopped coming. I left the lights on for days. The bulbs hummed until one by one they burned out. When the last one went dark, I heard the pipes again. Only this time the rhythm wasn't random. It matched the sound of my steps exactly. 2 beats, then a pause, like it was waiting for me to move. I started walking slower just to see. The pipes slowed too. That's when I realized it wasn't copying me. I was copying it. The house had set the rhythm, and somewhere along the line, I'd fallen into step. Day 30. The marks on the wall had reached the ceiling. When I woke, my fingernails were white with plaster dust, though I didn't remember touching the wall. I told myself it didn't matter. Just one more night, then I'd leave. I packed everything before sunset, stood at the door with my bag, turned the knob. It opened easily. Outside, the street was empty. No cars, no wind, no sound. Even the leaves were still. For a moment, I thought I'd made it. Freedom, quiet, clean air, open sky. Then I noticed the number on the mailbox. Not 7 Wren Street, it read 31. Every house on the block, 31. Painted, printed, carved, and each one looked exactly like mine. When I turned back, the door behind me was gone. Just another white house with peeling paint. I walked for hours. The street looped, bending in on itself until I saw my own porch again. The same window upstairs. The same faint light flickering inside. Through the glass, I saw someone standing at the top of the stairs. Same posture, same clothes. They lifted a hand, slow and heavy, and I felt my arm rise too. That's when I understood. There was never a house learning me. It was me learning the house. Its rhythm, its voice, its count. It didn't keep people. It became them. It's day 31 again. The walls are clean. The tallies are gone. But I know they'll come back when someone new moves in. If you ever pass Wren Street and see a white house with a single light upstairs, don't stop. Don't look in the window. Because if you do, you'll see me waving back. End of the quiet house on Wren Street.